Hello everybody, I am Jay Shady, the voice of reason. Second time's the charm. I tried to upload this video earlier today. I know some people said they saw it on my page, but something happened. I don't know what, but it's not on my page anymore, so I'm gonna do this again. Record this motherfucker again and do this shit right. I'm sick of it. Here we go. Okay, before I delve into the questions and redo this video again, I just want to say that I said this in the first fucking take that didn't take. For future reference, you can ask me other questions besides wrestling related stuff, and it's very much encouraged. You could ask me things about movies, music, TV, life in general. You know, my whole life isn't wrestling, and I don't think, you know, unless you want to be in the wrestling business, anybody's life shouldn't just be about wrestling, especially the state that the WWE is in right now. You know, don't feel that you have to ask me something non-wrestling related, but I'm just putting that out there for you. You know, you could ask me other stuff. Get to know me a little better. Alright, there's that. Yeah. So let me just go right into this video. Oh, also I was gonna say that I'm thinking about doing these Q&As once a week. I did one last Wednesday. I'm uploading this on Wednesday to this week, so next Wednesday would be good as long as I keep getting enough questions for each week. I'll do them every Wednesday, I promise. Alright, let's kick this shit off. Hawk5934 WWF asks me a couple questions. Number one, who is your top 10 wrestlers of all time? Let's see if I could remember what my answer was. Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, Macho Man Randy Savage, The Rock, Undertaker, Bret Hart, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, Ric Flair, and Sting. You know, when Sting was in WCW with the Crow gimmick when he was battling NWO as a kid, that was fucking the best for me. One of my favorite things that I remember. So there's my top 10, not in any particular order, but my top 3 is Macho Man, Stone Cold, and Shawn. Next he asks, who is your top 5 on the mic? The Rock, Stone Cold, Jericho, Ric Flair, and Macho Man. You know, Macho Man, it's like I could be entertained watching like 5 hours of Macho Man promos straight through, because they're not your typical promos. They're not how your promos should be cut. It's just so insane and bizarre. Macho Man just talks out of his mind. Whatever comes out of his mouth, he says it, you know. It might have nothing to do with what's going on, the storyline or the match. He just babbles, and somehow it all turns to gold, the shit that he says. So Macho Man, definitely in my top 5 on the mic. Then last, who's your top 5 technical wrestlers? Angle, Chris Benoit, Bret Hart, Daniel Bryan, and I can't think of a 5th one. Still, even right now, I can't think of a 5th one, but there's 4. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for the questions, Hawk. Next, I get a question from JKD. He's been asking this question at least 5-6 times. I'm finally going to answer it for him. What's your opinion of the WWE in the early 2000s, 2000 to 2003? I'll go into every year. 2000, I thought it was a good year. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Much better than 1999. I thought 1999 overstepped the boundaries of the Attitude Era, pushing the line too far, just getting too over the top and zany. 2000 kind of toned it down a little bit for the better. But they also did great shit and really brought in some new future stars like the Radicals, Chris Jericho, all those WCW guys who jumped ship to WWF in 2000, you know. So it really paved the way for the future with the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys. Oh, the list goes on and on. So I thought 2000 was pretty good. 2001, while it had one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, WrestleMania 17, that year was just a horrible year for the long-term run of the company. What it did, the death of WCW, the death of ECW, the Alliance, the whole fucking invasion angle, Stone Cold turning heel, I mean, such bad, long-lasting after effects from 2001 that still hurts the business to this day. That's why 2001, while there's some good quality in there, not a good year to remember. 2002, to me, is my favorite and the best post-Attitude Era year. Still to this day, 2002 was fucking great. You know, the start of the brand split. You had the NWO come back. Yeah, it was fucking stupid. But the first time they came back, it was like, holy shit. Shawn Michaels coming back. the first Elimination Chamber match, Brock Lesnar debuting, just so much great shit in 2002. And SummerSlam that year was one of the greatest SummerSlams, and Survivor Series that year was one of the greatest Survivor Series. So 2002 was fucking phenomenal. 2003, it had the greatest WrestleMania of all time, WrestleMania 19. But after that, I kind of feel like it started, I don't know, started losing some appeal to me, started losing some steam. Still, especially by today's standards, much better than the shit that you get today. 2003, I'll take over any of the past 5-6 years. But, you know, from previous years before that, I don't know, you got like fucking stupid people like Tyson Tomko and shit coming out, and I don't know, Snitsky, did he come out around that? I don't know, but it started getting a little, I don't know, a little fucking played out, a little watered down for me, but still a good year, especially compared to today's standards. So thanks for the question. Next, let's see. I get another question. This is from somebody who has their username. It's foreign symbols, foreign characters, so I don't know how to say the name, but he asks, do you like Chris Benoit? I like Chris Benoit's in-ring work, his matches, you know, the stuff that he's done for the company. Beyond that, you know, he's a son of a bitch. I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, are you asking, do I like him, you know, as a person? No, I don't like him as a person, you know. I mean, I'm sure you're going to have crazy fucking wrestling fans who think that wrestling is the only thing that matters in life, and just because somebody's a wrestler, they could do anything they want. That's not how it is in real life, buddy. You know, I'm not going to take anything away from his wrestling work. He's a fucking fantastic wrestler, but beyond that, he's a fucking child killer. I mean, I don't like the guy. No, I like his work. I don't like Chris Benoit, though. Thank you for the question. Next, For Unleashed or IV Unleashed, I'm not sure which one it is, asks, what do you think about what the WWE has done to Kane? I've addressed this issue in previous videos. You know, when I was a kid, Kane was one of my favorite characters. I was so scared of him, and he was just such a badass monster with the mask and shit. Didn't talk. It was like Michael Myers, you know, in Red and Black. But he took the mask off, and it just fell apart from there, you know. He was just fucking retarded without the mask. Like, trying to be scary, but, like, cheesy type of scary shit. And then, like, nowadays, he's just a PG fucking Barney the Dinosaur laughing, doing that sadistic laugh that sounds really gay, and then hugging shit out with Daniel Bryan. It's just a shame that one of the coolest characters of all time has come to what he is today. And, you know, I really wish Kane would just retire, because there's nothing for him anymore in the WWE. Alright, so that was my first portion of this Q&A video. I got those questions from my Q&A number 3 video comment section. Now I went to my inbox to get the rest of the questions. So yeah, we're going to keep this shit going. The fun never stops on this channel, believe it. Alright, Will Ferrell number 1, also known as Scott Gale, asks, do you like comedian Bob Saget from the 1987 to 1995 sitcom Full House, and have you ever seen his stand-up? It's very vulgar. I've never followed Bob Saget. I've never watched Full House, so, you know, I guess he was okay as the fucking guy on fucking that show. America's Funniest Home Videos, I think he did that. You know, I can't say I never listened to his stuff, but vulgar sounds good. I like vulgarity. Then he also asks, do you like Gilbert Gottfried? And I think that's the guy with the annoying voice. I never followed him. I think he played the fucking parrot or some shit in Aladdin. But yeah, I've never listened to him, so I can't say. For me, stand-up comedy, it all goes to Andrew Dice Clay. That's my favorite. Andrew Dice Clay, if you don't know who that is, he's from, he's from Brooklyn, New York. Very big in the 80s. He actually went to the high school that I did. He dropped out like 2 years in. James Madison High School in Brooklyn. Very vulgar. He like does nursery rhymes, but like puts a vulgar spin on them. He does them very like Italian-esque, even though he's Jewish. He's not even Italian, I don't think. Oh, you know what? I'm feeling good. I'm gonna do some fucking Andrew Dice Clay material. You know what? This is something that doesn't really happen on this channel, so let's feel special. Jay Shady, voice of reason, is gonna do some fucking stand-up tonight. Let's do this, alright. If I can remember something. Here's a good one. Mary, Mary, quite contrary. Trim that pussy, it's so damn hairy. Oh! Let's keep it going. I'm feeling good right now. Little Bo Peep fucked a sheep, blew a horse, licked his feet, shade his ass so very nice, tongued his balls not once but twice. Oh! Little boy Blue, he needed the money. Oh, fucking forget about it. Let's keep it going. Another one I could get. Oh, here we go. Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get her old dog a bone. She bent over. Rover took over. Oh, she got a bone of her own. Jack and Jill went up the hill, both with $1.25. Jill came down with $2.50. Oh, that fucking hooah. Well, I'll do one more, I promise. Alright. Hickory dickory dock. Some chick was sucking my cock. The clock struck 2, I dropped my goo, I dumped the bitch on the next block, bada bing, get the fuck out of here. There you go, there's my stand-up comedy. If you like that, check out Andrew Dice Clay, fucking great shit. Alright, there you go. And then last question from Will Ferrell, number 1, asks, what is your favorite Austin versus McMahon moment in the Attitude Era? You know, so fucking many great moments, but I'll go with the moment when McMahon was in the hospital and Austin is disguised as one of the doctors and he beats the shit out of McMahon. I mean, made me laugh like fucking crazy when I first saw it. Still to this day, whenever I see that, I laugh my ass off. Just the whole build up to that segment was fucking phenomenal with Foley visiting McMahon with Mr. Sacco and then Austin fucking beating up Vince's broken leg and Vince is like, fucking great fucking selling, and then the fucking bedpan right on his fucking head. Just amazing moment, great fucking Attitude Era moment. Thank you for the questions, Will Ferrell, number 1, Scott Gale. Alright, Multimedia Assassin has a couple questions for the Shadester. He asks, how can my hometown Los Angeles or any other city be as good as New York when it comes to crowd reaction at WWE events? It all comes down to just voicing your opinion, you know, not accepting being force-fed stuff, you know. New Yorkers have a very low patience, and whenever we're upset, we have no problem voicing our opinion. We don't give a fuck, you know. We're rebels, we're degenerates, you know. So it's like, stop worrying about, you know, what's socially right and just do whatever you fucking feel like it. That's what separates the crowds, I think. Then he asks, do you think deep down inside it drives John Cena crazy because he can't get 100% of the fans' approval and support? Hell yes it does. You know, John Cena could, you know, do all the jokes he wants, does that little fucking smile, you know, say that he loves his fans, his haters, you know, he loves the let's go Cena, Cena sucks chants. It's all great. Everybody's having fun, but he is so full of shit. Any guy, just imagine you, every single night of your life, we're getting told by thousands of people that you suck, saying same old shit, saying, fuck you, you know? I mean, that shit gets to you. That shit gets to you psychologically, emotionally. It just does. Mentally, I don't care who you are. You know, that's just gonna get to you. Like, just imagine. That's why I imagine how great it would be if one night John Cena came out, everybody was booing the fuck out of him, and he says, you know what? For 10 years, I've been trying to entertain you, been working my ass off, and all you do is boo me night in and night out, yet people like The Rock and Brock Lesnar come here once a year, and you go crazy for them, and you suck their dicks. You know what? Fuck you, I don't need you anymore. Imagine a fucking promo like that, but you could only imagine because that shit's not gonna happen. But to say it fucking shortly, yes, it definitely does drive this motherfucker crazy, no doubt about it. Last question, non-wrestling related. This is a great question, especially for me. What are your thoughts and opinions of Disney buying Lucasfilms and the announcement of a new Star Wars trilogy? Well, anybody who knows me knows I'm fucking crazy about Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is a huge fucking part of my existence. I had an awesome Star Wars party earlier in the year. You know, I'm at this point where to me, it's anybody but George Lucas is an improvement. Disney is an improvement over George Lucas. Make no mistake about it. You know, there's these people that are fucking crazy saying, oh, Mickey Mouse is going to be in Star Wars now. You know, Goofy and Donald Duck are going to be playing Han Solo and Luke. It's like, shut the fuck up. You know that shit's not happening. You know, Disney owns Star Wars for marketing reasons like they should. Disney knows how to market. And, you know, they're going to let them do whatever the fuck they want. Look what Disney did with Marvel. Disney bought Marvel. Marvel made the Avengers the way that they wanted to. And the Avengers was what? The greatest, the biggest blockbuster of last summer, you know, all year. So, you know, that says it right there. I don't think it's going to be all Disney-fied. Disney just owns it for marketing reasons. So I'm not worried about it being all Disney-fied and all that. But You know, I think it's good that now future generations will have Star Wars, you know, to watch, because that's what it was about, you know, in the 70s and in the late 90s, early 2000s, about those generations growing up with Star Wars. I'm just wondering what the story is going to be, you know, because, like, at the end of Jedi, the Empire is pretty much dead. Everybody's happy. I mean, what's 7, 8, and 9 going to be? Like, just happy shit, like, you know, Luke and Leia being brothers and sisters, and Luke and Han, like, taking the kids out to the park. I mean, doesn't sound like such great 3 movies. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see what they do with it. Like I said, I'm just happy that it's not George Lucas, because George Lucas is just a total fuck up at this point. He's a tyrant, a corporate tyrant. He's just a businessman. To me, he represents the Empire. He used to represent Luke Skywalker, but now he represents Darth Vader. He's just a fucking merch lover. He just wants to sell merch. He's like Vince McMahon. Very much like Vince McMahon. He no longer has the passion. No longer is in touch with his fans, his audience. I mean, just look at those prequels. I mean, they were just bad fucking movies, especially Episode 1. Like, Episode 3 was good. I liked Episode 3. But Episode 1 and 2 were bad, and especially 1 because 1 just had nothing to do with the rest of the fucking series. You could watch Episode 2 to 6 and you will have everything down. You won't be confused. You won't be questioning shit, because Episode 1 just does not matter. And it is such a kid's movie. It's just disgusting. Yeah, so I think George Lucas is a hack. He's not a good director, not a good writer, not a good visionary. He's just a businessman at this point, and Star Wars needs a fresh mind, a fresh set of eyes. We'll see if J.J. Abrams does that. The only thing I am worried about is the fact that they're doing standalone films and spin-off films. They said that there will be a new Star Wars movie every single summer. To me, that is a problem. Doing a new trilogy, I'm fine with that. I'm excited for that because, you know, I'm not going to lie. Opening night for Episode 7 is going to be insane. But having a Star Wars film every summer when you're having, you know, Yoda films and Han Solo films and Boba Fett films, it's like, you know, come on. Overexposure much, you know? I mean, when is enough, you know? And just that overexposure, knowing that there's going to be a Star Wars film every single year, it takes away from each film because it's not special, because it's, oh, well, we'll have another one next year, you know? Just having those standalone spin-off films, it's going to take away from the main series. You know, this Star Wars isn't fucking James Bond where you can have 25 movies, you know? Star Wars should just be a main series thing, not where you have fucking 35 films. So that's a problem. I'm worried about that. But you know what? There's a lot more time to come. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more information coming out. Especially, you know, looking at, I'm sorry I'm spending so much time on this, but I really love Star Wars, and, you know, I never talked about Star Wars on a video. But, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford, pretty much agreeing to come back. That's exciting for me, and we'll see how it goes. I'll be doing many more Star Wars videos in the future when they release information. Thanks for the Star Wars question from one Star Wars fan to another. Okay, now that I'm done getting my geek out, let's go back to wrestling. All right. Ace Coco asks, do you watch UFC? No, I don't. You know, I'm just not interested in real, you know, legit fighting between two men. That doesn't excite me at all. You know, I watch wrestling, I watch WWF, WWE for the story, the storylines, and the storytelling inside the ring. You know, I'm a film guy. I like to see stories going on. So real legit fighting just doesn't appeal to me. That's why I don't watch UFC or boxing or MMA. Ace Coco also asks, can you name top 5 best wrestling crowds? You know, I'm just going to think off the top of my head. I'm sure there's better crowds than this, but I'm going to say, you know, Money in the Bank 2011 in Chicago with CM Punk. The Raw after WrestleMania 29 in New York, New Jersey. I'll do the Raw after WrestleMania 28 in Miami. This is a rough one. I'll do ECW One Night Stand. How could I fucking forget that? The crowd that I was in, one of the greatest nights of my life. ECW One Night Stand 2006. And WrestleMania 18 in the Sky Dome for Rock versus Hogan. That was fantastic. So I'm sure there's other fucking crowds that I didn't name, but, you know, I'm not, you know, that much into wrestling that I remember every single crowd from every single show. Next, Sounds of Summer 82 asks, what is your favorite pay-per-view intro video package of all time? WrestleMania 19 for me. I just love that video package. I did a video with it previously, just just so mature and grand and just epic and sophisticated and elegant, you know? Really made WrestleMania look legitimate and professional. I just love that video package. Everything about it really set the tone for WrestleMania. Next, he asks, what is your favorite wrestling attire of all time? He says, for me, it has to go to HBK's original DX attire he wore against Shamrock at In Your House DX. And coincidentally, that's also my favorite attire of all time, you know. Shawn Michaels is my number one favorite, and that attire was fucking amazing. The green fucking DX was just so fucking awesome with the X vest. Oh, that fucking attire is fucking great. Every time that I have a WWE game with Shawn Michaels, I always make that attire, you know, as best as I could. Thank you for those questions. Next, Trent Michaels asks, what year in WWE do you think was the worst when it comes to quality? I haven't watched the new gen ever, so I can't put that into consideration. But from what I've seen, I mean, this year, last year, it just gets worse and fucking worse at this point, you know? I mean, pick any of the last fucking 5 years, you know, put them all in a hat, draw one of them, and, you know, there you go. They all fucking suck. So the past fucking 5 years is the worst in my opinion. Andrew T asks, do you like reading? You know, I don't read. I you know, it sounds like fucking stupid, like I'm an idiot or something, but I just haven't picked it up. You know, the last time I was into reading was when I was reading fucking Goosebumps books in 2nd grade. So there you go. Sorry for that. Then he also asks, I'm writing this on the week of the Boston bombings. What's your thoughts? It's a tragedy, very fucking unfortunate. It's just insane what the fucking world is coming to, you know, with people doing this shit. You know, great line from The Dark Knight when Michael Caine says, some men just want to watch the world burn. You know, it very much applies to the world today, you know. Very sad, you know. I'm not going to go into the whole conspiracy shit. I'm not one for conspiracies. Apparently, everybody finds a conspiracy about everything. I don't like talking about politics. That's one thing I will never get into. It's just people get so heated during that shit. So, you know, but Boston bombings, I'm glad people were caught. You know, it's over. But, you know, my heart goes out to everybody, of course. Very sad. Then he asks, since you live in New York, on 9/11, where were you when you learned or heard the planes crash into the World Trade Center? Watching it on TV made at 8 years old, scared to go anywhere for a few weeks. I remember it vividly, you know. I was in 6th grade, I think. Yeah, 6th grade. I was just starting 6th grade, like my second week of school. I was just about to turn 11 years old 5 days later. I was on recess, lunch recess, whatever. I was outside in the playground for lunch. And there were ashes falling down. And as a fucking 10-year-old kid, I thought it was snowing. And I was like, why is it snowing in September? That doesn't make sense. And it's just so eerie. I had my mouth open, you know, letting the snow fall into my mouth. And, you know, just like, you know, how kids do when it's snowing. But the fact that those were dead bodies going into my mouth and on my tongue and just debris and soot from that is just, still, it drives me insane to this day, you know. And I remember that shit, just so many parents coming to get their kids at school screaming, the world is over, they're bombing. It was just insane. And we were like fucking 10-year-old kids, you know. And then going home, seeing the coverage of it, it was like watching a fucking Michael Bay movie or some shit. I mean, even Michael Bay didn't have shit on this. I mean, this was just like watching a movie play out. The fucking gruesome pictures in the newspapers. This is just, man, just devastating and could traumatize anybody. I'm sure it still traumatizes people subconsciously, probably myself somehow, that I don't realize. Yeah, just one of those things that I'll be telling my kids and my grandkids about. Then he also asks, do you enjoy watching scary movies such as Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street? I love horror movies, Andrew. You know, those Jason movies, those slasher movies, Michael Myers, Freddy. The 80s shit was great. For me, horror movies today are dead. I do not watch any horror movies in this day and age. Every fucking horror movie is about, you know, oh, let's go to a house and the house is fucking haunted. It's possessed. Every single movie is about some fucking dumbass family that just buys a new possessed house. Everything. I don't watch new horror movies, but the 80s stuff is great. And even before that, you know, The Exorcist, Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, Rosemary's Baby, Repulsion. There's a French one called Eyes Without a Face. So many great horror movies. The Innocents, some old school shit I'm putting in there. But yeah, I love horror movies. Even the 1930s ones with Frankenstein and Wolfman and Dracula. Just the atmosphere, the gothic type atmosphere, the fog, the gothic castle, Victorian castle, the music, the eeriness. For me, that's what's fun about horror movies is the atmosphere, not the jumps, the oohs and ahs and the things that go bump in the night. Those big when it does that, that's just like a jump. That's not psychologically scary like the old school stuff was. So yeah, I love horror movies. Old school, not new school at all. Thanks for the questions. All right, almost done with this. Power Spy in 1 Games asks, who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of the Attitude Era? I would have Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, even though I'm not the hugest fan of Triple H, but he did have a lot to do with the Attitude Era. And last, Mr. McMahon. If you don't have Mr. McMahon on there, it's a fake Mount Rushmore in my opinion. I mean, Mr. McMahon was the heel character, the number 1 heel, make no mistake about it. He might not have been a wrestler, but everything Stone Cold did revolved around Mr. McMahon. So Mr. McMahon is definitely on my Mount Rushmore. Alright, Patrick Bateman asks, why don't you review SmackDown? I can't review a show I don't watch. I haven't watched SmackDown since 2005, 2006. It's been fucking 8 years almost, about. So, I just have no interest in SmackDown at all. Dedicating 3 hours to Raw is enough time for me. I can't watch all these shows. I'm not that much into WWE, to do that shit. But here's a surprise. I will be reviewing SmackDown this Friday if the stories are right and that Undertaker versus Dean Ambrose is actually on the show, that it wasn't a dark main event. For those of you who don't know, the SmackDown tapings, Undertaker fought Dean Ambrose in a match. They're saying whether it was a dark main event or it's actually going to be on TV. If it is on TV, I will definitely be watching SmackDown for the first time in about 8 years, and I'll review it. Why the fuck not? Thanks for that question. Last but not least, here we go. The end. Bree Mummy asks, what do you think of Sean's View Entertainment? Do you watch his videos? I have no problem with Sean's View Entertainment. He's funny. He's a funny guy, I think. His character is funny. I know he loves John Cena and some PG stuff. I don't watch all of his videos because he does videos like every 5 minutes. I don't have time to watch a video every 5 minutes. But I find his character very, very funny. His personality, there was a video he did where he was outside, like cutting like what was like a promo about people who were coming to kick his ass. It was very funny, I thought. So I don't have any problem with the guy. He's a subscriber of mine. I'm a subscriber of his, so I can't, no problem with the guy. I think he does his shtick very good, in my opinion. Then Bree Mummy also asks, the last question of the night, do you follow any sports team? Yes, I watch sports, the New York Rangers for hockey. I'm a fan of the New York Rangers. They just lost last night to the Florida Panthers. Could have clinched a playoff spot, but I think they will. All they need to do is win 1 game, or Winnipeg needs to lose. So I'm excited to see the New York Rangers play playoff hockey. Basketball is like my least favorite sport, but I still watch it, especially, when it comes to sports, it's like I watch it when it gets to the playoff hunt, the playoff season, because I don't care about watching games that don't fucking mean shit, I like watching games where shit is on the line. So every sport I really pick up towards the end of the season, towards the playoffs. So for basketball, I used to be a huge fucking Bulls fan when it was MJ, Pippen, and Rodman, but nowadays in this day and age, I guess the New York Knicks, they just beat Boston Celtics last night, took a 2-0 lead in the series, and I also like the Brooklyn Nets. I'm glad that Brooklyn finally has its own team again. It's very good for the community, for the city, and I hope we see a Brooklyn Nets versus New York Knicks playoff series. That would be epic. Baseball-wise, New York Yankees fan, from the day I was born to the day I die. With baseball, though, 162 games for each season is way too fucking much. They have to cut down on the 162 regular season game amount, That's just, even for a fucking avid baseball fan, that's asking too much, 162. Baseball, that's like the one thing where it's like, from like game 1 to 130, I don't give a shit. I start watching in the last 30 games when shit actually starts mattering, You just have all this filler for baseball. They really need to make it more special, have a less amount of games. But yeah, Yankees fan, huge Yankees fan. It was great being a Yankees fan during that dynasty in the mid 90s, late 90s. That was fucking fantastic. And football, I'm a New York Giants guy. And for me, football is the one sport that I follow the most because it's 16 games a season, once every Sunday. You don't have to dedicate multiple days a week to it, and every single game matters because there's only 16 games a season. That's why I think football as a sport is executed so perfectly over the other sports, because every single game actually matters. New York Giants fan. I also like the Jets. I'm not one of those people that, I'm one fan of one city team and I hate the other one, like Yankees with Mets and Giants with Jets. Like, I don't like the Mets, but I don't have a problem if the Mets win. I'm not a fucking, nut job. Like, I want to see every guy on the Mets fucking die in a plane crash. You have people like that. They're just insane. But, same, like, Jets, actually, they're probably my second favorite team. But, yeah, Giants fan, first and foremost, and it was great those past the past 5 years, those 2 Super Bowls that the Giants won. Fucking, stuff of legend that shit was. So there you go. Finally done with this Q&A. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this fucking uploads. I tried to upload it before, but it didn't upload. Now I'm doing this again. It better fucking upload. Okay, there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, you could leave a question for a future Q&A in the comment section for this video, or more preferably, inbox me a question, entitle it Q&A, and I will answer it in my next Q&A or one of the Q&As after that. I will get my next Q&A out on next Wednesday, as long as I get some questions. Thank you for watching. I am Jay Shady, the voice of reason. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.